Her buying me that outfit was like a hug from her. Catching her stares at me and then me asking her, "What you looking at?" And her replying in a playful way, "I'm looking at your ugly little self." That was her way of admiring me. Her providing a sheltered home, food, a safe, carefree home was her safety and security. I remember numerous occasions coming home from school expressing to my mom how someone made me feel bad in some kind of way. My mom's response will always be, "Speak up and say how you feel. Don't let people just run over you." That was my mom giving me confidence. My fourth grade year at Bear Creek, I had a white friend, a boy who talked about how much money he had, and the next day he promised to bring me $100. Well, guess what? He did. I showed my mom, and though we could have used that $100, she made me give it back. I wasn't upset. That was my mom showing me honesty and integrity. When she wouldn't let me wear a short sleeve poplin top with those leather thigh high boots, she made me change clothes, and I did. I changed into a Mojave top and some silk bottoms that were champagne, and I put through a kimono over it. That was my mom showing me class. When my teeth became rotten from her letting me suck on a bottle when I was a baby, yeah, she made sure she had money for the surgery for me. That was love. She could have had me looking like a little booger wolf. My mom funded my trip to Jamaica when I was 13. That was her wanting me to have an experience she probably never had. Not being a good tester in seventh grade, they tried to put me in ESC classes due to standardized test scores. My mom was an advocate for me then. Her not letting me do anything I wanted was protection, but it was something missing. This little girl needed affection. She needed hugs, kisses on the cheek. She needed to hear "I love you." She needed to be told she was pretty. A part of her didn't understand it though. The actions, she was expressive, but because her mom wasn't expressive, she suppressed her expressions. This made me feel rebellious. It made her feel rebellious. It made me seek validation from outside of myself, from sources like friends and boys, people that just outside of me. When I became sexually active, I didn't like she told others. When I tried to express my feelings to my mom, she didn't have the capacity to hear me out. This made me not trust her with who I really was. So I shut down. Time went on and suppressed emotions turned into monsoonal rains of raging emotions. I'm approaching 30, entering my Saturn return. I'm looking in the mirror and life is looking back at me, showing me exactly where I am. Instead of taking accountability, I thought back to the times I wasn't told "I love you." The times I wasn't told I was pretty, the times where I had to teach myself educationally. I thought about not receiving a kiss, a hug, her not hearing me out. I thought about all of that. I forgot about all the things she taught me unknowingly, and I held her accountable for my choices. Now I'm 32 and I realize all the choices I made, I knew better. I knew better from all of the things my mom taught me through my life's experience with her. Y'all, so that was my spill regarding my mom traumas. It was just something that I wrote to kind of like help me to express it. And it felt really good just getting that off of me, because it helped me to see like the bigger picture of things. Maybe I wasn't hugged. Maybe I wasn't told that I love you. Or maybe I wasn't always, told that, you're pretty, things like that. But writing that helped me to see it from a different perspective. And it showed me that it was there in the action. Um, I am more of an affectionate type person. Like I like to hear things and I like to see the action behind it as well. But for me, it's just with my mom, her being such a criticizer of everything that I've done it's caused me to have to put on like a mask of being perfect. And this is how I was, in friendships, relationships, or just being around people, period. Like I felt like I had to be like perfect. Or, even around her, like it's like, let me make sure I have this done, or let me make sure I have that done in a specific way, in a specific manner, because I don't want to be criticized. And it's something that I've dealt with. I dealt with that from my mom. And when you're criticized a lot, it's like you just feel like you can never do nothing right. And then, like, for me, it just left me feeling like I really don't know how she feels about me, because when you're always told that you're doing something wrong, it's going to make you feel, not good about yourself. It's going to make you feel like you never could do anything right. So, with me and my mom trauma, like I've been told, she said certain things to me to hurt my feelings. Well, that hurt my feelings. I can't necessarily say that she tried to hurt my feelings. But, I've been called out my name. I've been called a hoe. I've been told, that, my sister wouldn't be nothing like me. And it left me from a young age, you know, my parent mom, when I tried to express myself, it was like no understanding or not trying to see where I, come from. It was more being talked at versus talked to. So it made me to like suppress the way I feel. So growing up, I didn't I had always had an issue with expressing myself, and I'm still working on that, you know, but it just got to a point where I just was like, I'm tired of feeling this way. It became draining to feel that way, you know. Um, Me and my mom, we didn't had like a couple butting of heads, and nothing physical, but just butting of heads, me telling her how I feel, and she reacting to what I'm telling her. And even after some of those, little debacles and me expressing, I'm not even sure if she really still understands it, but you know, I just got tired of letting my trauma dictate how I go about my day, or just go about my life, period. I felt as if, one day I just felt like as if I was just, you know, in a prison. I'm like, why do you continue to allow yourself to feel this way? And even when I do see the change, that she's trying to make, like I hear her, compliment me, but in my head, I'm like, I don't believe it, or, because I'm so used to the criticism, it was hard for me to believe, but I had to realize, like, you're still festering in the funk. I was still holding on, not even allowing her to, you know, correct herself, because I was still holding on to the anger, the hurt, and the pain that my younger self experienced. But I think what helped me is just realizing, like, a lot of the things that we experience from our parents, period, even though this is about moms, but a lot of things that we experience from parents is things that they experienced when they were younger. They just didn't have I don't want to say common sense, but they just didn't have the knowledge to to make a change and, do a little differently. Like, I remember my mom telling me, like, her mom, she don't really recall too many times her mom told them that she loved them, but she knew it just through the action. So it trickled down into our relationship. And my family is not an affectionate type family. We don't tell each other we love each other. We don't give each other hugs. None of that. Like, that's my mom's side of the family. And it just trickled down. It trickled down. But I guess I was the one, the emotional one with this little Leo moon that was just like, like, this is not right. This is not how it's supposed to be. And then with my dad's side, it was different. Like, that's a family, I love you, they're giving you hugs and everything. So, like, I was able to experience that some, from his side. But in experiencing that from my dad's side, it highlighted what was missing in my mom's. But what also helped me with my trauma is just realizing, like, I can make the change. I can start a new trend, a new generational trend for me and mine. Now that I have kids, I can give them the love, the affection, and things like that, the hugs that I didn't necessarily get, the affirmation that I didn't necessarily get. And it's helped me to change my point of view. And just honestly, I'm a grown ass woman now, 32. And it's like, you can either let the trauma make you or you can let it break you. And I just chose I'm going to let it make me. You know what I mean? I'm going to let it fuel me. And I just was like, I'm no longer going to be a victim of it, And I know that a lot of us go through, like, some of your traumas with your mom. Probably, I'm pretty sure, some people's traumas are deeper than others. Doesn't take away from it. But, I just refuse to let that stay and live in my body. And being a mom now is like, when you realize, like, they're human, my mom is a human just like anybody else, And being a mom, like, doesn't come with a handbook. And I realize that for myself now, because I even see some shortcomings that I have with my own children. And it's not for us to hold it against them, especially if you see them trying, if they're listening to you. You see them trying to, not fix, but, rekindle and make up for maybe what they did fall short. Give them that chance to do that. Don't hold the grudge, because that's what I did for a long time. Like, I tried to place the blame on my mom for some of the things that I went through, because I'm like, you didn't do this with me, you didn't do that. So I went looking for it outside of myself. But it's like, no. At the end of the day, I'm still my own person. And just taking accountability for that, it just helped me to, like, see it from a different perspective. And, also just realizing that you only get one in this lifetime, for sure. You only get one mom. You don't want your mom to be going the next day, because the next day, the next second, the next minute is not promised. So if you have a mom that, that is there for you when you need them, for sure, and is in your corner, don't turn them away for something that they lack short of, because we're all humans, we all make mistakes. Have some grace. And that's what I had to tell myself. Have some grace. Because a lot of times what our parents go through, what our parents put us through, is what their parents put them through. And it just helped me to have more compassion and empathy and sympathy, And though sometimes I'd be like, lady, get on, go. Like, it's still times where I only could take so much of her energy. She big Sag, Sagittarius, they come with a lot of energy. But I love that lady. And, if you're still dealing with mom, trauma, I think we all experience some type of trauma. If you're still dealing with that, write it out. Write those feelings out. Get it out on a piece of paper. Yell. It's been times like I've had to just yell, just to get it out. And if you most definitely can go to your mom and talk to her, do that. She may understand you and she may not. But guess what? It's going to make you feel good at the end of the day. And by you telling and speaking up for yourself, it's going to make your mom kind of think back like, you know? Because I think that's probably what I did when I kind of, she still think, have her ways or whatever. But I think we needed that. And now, right now, we roommates. She had to come stay with me. So it's really helping me to deal with my trauma. But at first I was really opposed to it. But I seen where it's brought us together a lot more, you know, and the respect that I wanted, that I was craving from her. She's learning to lean into it and to give me my independence a lot more now that she see what I'm doing with myself, I think. But just trauma in general. Don't hold that in your body. Release it. Release it in whatever way. Get it off of you. But let me know what traumas what mom traumas you had and how it's affected you, as a grown up. And if you're still dealing with it, if you overcome it, share it down in the comments. I would love to hear. But thank you for your time and your energy. It is Dime Key. Peace and blessings.